Good evening, I hope everyone's well today. Thank you for watching. As always, it is appreciated. I've seen a video online today and it's been posted by a few different people and people that I have confidence in, such as Basil the Great on X, formerly Twitter, and also Turning Point UK. It is quite disturbing, but before we get into that, I want to give you a bit of context. I am from a hunting family, and we have and go hunting in the countryside, rabbiting, ferreting, using guns and rifles and whatnot, and we're actually members of a local wildfowl and game association up in Frodsham. We look after the land, we tender to the land, we take and use what we basically take and kill. That's all perfectly fine and above board. They are bred and we actually maintain these shoots, and the rabbiting and the ferreting is part of countryside pest control. That's been done by people for time immemorial all over Britain. That's very different to what I'm going to discuss with you in a moment or two. The swans, specifically the mute swan, is a protected species. It's protected all throughout the United Kingdom. It was known as the Queen's bird and it's known as the King's bird now. They used to be for the dinner table of the royalty. That's no longer the case, but it is a criminal offence and they are marked. There's a tradition of the King's ownership of these birds. Magnificent creatures, by the way. I love the swans, they're absolutely gorgeous. And they are not mute. If you ever get smacked by a swan wing in the right place, it can break bones. They are very, very intimidating, especially if you go fishing on local ponds and lakes. They are very territorial, and rightly so. At the end of the day, it's their environment that you're actually invading when you go fishing, so that's perfectly reasonable in my view. The swan upping is a tradition how the king actually exercises his ownership of these animals. It is only done on certain points on the Thames. I think it's just the Thames estuary in modern times. However, the law is there and is there for a particular reason. Most native people, I say most, respect that law. I am greatly disturbed when I see local teenagers or local youths interfering with swans. It just bothers me. It always has bothered me, and I think it always will bother me. So when I put this video on now, you will be disturbed. Full disclosure.
To check what bird this is. I think it might be a swan. I'm not sure. But do you know what a swan is, sir? You know the big white birds that you see on the park?
Hershey heads to the kitchen to take a closer look at what's cooking.
You see the bones in this bird? Because it's not a chicken, I'm a bit concerned.
Personal note, that is rank. That is absolutely disgusting. I don't know what type of scouse they are making. I know scouse, I know stew. That is rank. That is absolutely appalling. I wouldn't even give that to a dog, let alone a human. That is that's gross. Anyway, let's continue.
There's a law against people taking animals off. You told them that, yeah. And it's very serious. It's very serious if that happens.
Concerned that what's in the pot is no chicken, Hershey heads to the back garden to look for evidence in the bins.
I know, it's a bit disgusting, isn't it?
It's appalling. This is gross. This is absolutely horrific.
And the contents of the bins is a little suspicious.
See, the problem is there's a hell of a lot of big white feathers in here.
I would say that adds up to case closed. I don't know about you. I think that's pretty damning evidence in my personal opinion. Now, of course, nothing's been proven. This is all alleged. But this is absolutely disgusting.
I know. And the problem is, could be anything from goose to swan. For now, I'm going to go. But what I need you to make sure that you say to everybody here is that they're not allowed to take anything from the park. I'm not saying you did. I'm not saying you...
There's been rumours up in my area. We have local parks and we have local nature reserves around in Runcorn and Widnes. There's a particular place over in Widnes on West Bank. By the way, that's the only West Bank I want to hear about, the West Bank in Widnes. I don't care about the West Bank in Gaza. I really don't care. I really don't. That's an aside. There's been rumours that people that were not born in the United Kingdom, that may or may not have come here illegally or legally from cultures that are vastly different to ours, have been helping themselves to many people's feathered friends in the local places. Now, I can't prove that definitively. Those are rumours that I've heard in my area.
Didn't.
The eyewitness reports combined with the evidence are difficult for the family to explain, but the young man does his best.
Do you know what I mean? I'm not a lie.
He's suggesting that they may have bought the birds and released them in the park for the children to chase, and that's what the witnesses saw.
I'm not buying that for 1 second. I'm not buying that at all. Now, of course, your mileage may vary, as always. Like, comment and subscribe if you think I'm onto something. The point I want to make, and it's a difficult point. It is, if you can't respect minor laws, like respecting local wildlife and respecting that there are laws in place to protect the communities, and it's minor things like animal rights. Like, I can't take a shotgun into my local town park and dispatch grey squirrels. They are a invasive species. They are outcompeting the red squirrels that are native to the United Kingdom. But I can't go into town park and start taking them out with a shotgun because there are laws against things like that, even though they are vermin. You can't release them into the wild, but they are vermin and you can't just go out and dispatch them even if they are vermin. These swans are protected for a reason, and they are probably the most majestic bird in the UK in my view. If these people that are coming into our culture can't respect cultural norms like we do not kill swans, is it any surprise that we have grooming gangs up and down the realm? Is it any surprise that we have all of these atrocities that happen all the time? Is it any wonder? People are not all the same. All cultures are not equal. Some are more equal than others, and some are better than others, and I will put that on record. Some cultures are better. The civilized Western world is probably the best culture that the planet has ever known. That is in significant danger, either because our politicians are too stupid, or they're just indifferent and they don't actually care. Anyway, comment below if you think I'm onto something. If you think I'm over-egging this, let me know. I'll see you in the next video, and have a good afternoon. Have a good evening even.